Hello, everyone. My name is Raw, and I'm here to talk about Heretic, co-directed by Scott Beck and Bryan Woods. Heretic is a religious psychological horror movie. It stars Hugh Grant, Sophie Thatcher, and Chloe East. The movie is basically about two missionary girls that knock on Mr. Reed's door, played by Hugh Grant, and once Mr. Reed invites them in, he starts to test the two missionaries' beliefs and it turns into a kind of sick, twisted cat and mouse game. One of the few strengths of this movie, I think, would be the acting. The acting is pretty top notch, especially coming from Hugh Grant. His character, he balances charming and diabolical at the same time. His character has like this completely flawed ideology about religion and theology and all that kind of subject matter. Like he's ready basically to challenge anyone's religious beliefs. Like since he knows a vast knowledge of every religion out there, he's ready to call these people out, persecute them, and make them feel bad about their beliefs. His conclusion is that all religion is created to control people, mind control. When he gives these monologues and the back and forths he has with Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East, like, it's pretty good stuff. When I first saw the trailer a couple months ago, I really didn't know what to think. Like, I thought it was just going to be some cheesy, demonic horror possession type of movie, but I'm glad I watched it. I've been missing out on a lot of movies, and I feel like I'm just glad I gave this movie a shot because, for the most part, the first half of the movie was the best part. Like, Hugh Grant's character is he's just on fire. And I don't want to discredit Sophie Thatcher and, Chloe East. Like, I don't want to forget about them. They were both great. They were both kind of like opposites of each other, where one is more reserved and the other one is like naive. But the only thing that their characters share in common would be their religious beliefs. And their characters go through their arcs, and I feel like they are strong and brave and intelligent characters, but I feel like the second half of the movie, the script kind of fails them just a little bit, But overall, all performances from all the three actors were pretty great. And I think that's like the best thing about this movie is the acting. Like everyone is just brings their A game. I've never seen anything with Sophie Thatcher or Chloe East, but I'm definitely like interested to see the kind of stuff they work on in the future. One of the other good things about the movie is the soundtrack, like the needle drops and the score. Like they use music from the Hollies, Radiohead. Even there's a Sophie Thatcher cover of Knocking on Heaven's Door. I didn't know she has some sort of like musical career or anything like that, but that's pretty cool. And the score by Chris Bacon, it kind of reminds me of like Bernard Herrmann stuff. And I did some research where I saw that some of his work was on the Bates Motel show. So I guess some of that Bernard Herrmann inspiration kind of carries over into Heretic. And I think it's pretty good music. In some parts I was like rocking my head, but I don't want to get too carried away on that, but it was pretty good. The editing was cool. They use a lot of like transition shots that I thought were pretty cool. The cinematography was decent, nothing too crazy. It was very serviceable for the movie. The only thing I did think that was a little too much was there was like a lot of lens flares, but that's not too much of a big deal. But I noticed it a little too much, and I thought it was like, okay, what is this? A J.J. Abrams movie? Like Steven Spielberg movie? Like, or maybe it's just there's a more purpose for that use of lens flare that I'm just not understanding at the moment. But I think overall, the directing, the directing from Scott Beck and Bryan Woods was pretty solid. They put a decent script together and assembled a really great cast, a small but great cast. And the cast delivered on the material. Like they did great with the material. I guess let me try to gather my thoughts on negatives. I think the movie is just a little too long, and it's kind of weird to say because the movie is already an hour and 50 minutes. It's under 2 hours, but I just felt like the movie dragged just a little bit. A lot of the focus was on um, the subject matter or the philosophy of the movie of the first half. That was like the main focus of the movie. So when it got to the end, it was kind of like, this is the ending, let's wrap up this movie. That's just what it felt like. But not to take away from the payoffs the characters have towards the end. Like, some of them have good payoffs, but it just felt very rushed. I guess the verdict for the movie would be, I give it a solid 3 out of 5. Like, I recommend this to A24 fans, A24 film fans. Like, if you're just following their catalog and just a fan of A24 movies, like, you will like this. If you like movies that bring up, interesting ideas about religion, this is a movie for you. It goes into some really crazy ideas. I think overall the movie's worth the watch for the performances, and I think it would leave people pretty satisfied. I think so. But those are just my overall thoughts. If you like the movie, let me know. I'd like to hear your thoughts. All right, that's it. That's all I have. Sorry guys, I've been talking too much, but bye.